Hi, and welcome. We created this space for people from all walks of life to come together and share their powerful testimonies, life stories, and personal journeys. Whether you're a teenager navigating life or 50 and fabulous, this channel is for you. Our goal is to create a warm, open, and inspiring community where every voice matters. We believe that through sharing stories, healing can happen, and you just might find a story that speaks directly to you. So sit back, relax, and connect with our amazing guests. We're so glad to have you here. Enjoy. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi.
It's good to have you here.
Oh my goodness.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Stop. No. I am Chardae. I'm originally from New Zealand. I grew up in New Zealand and I moved here to Australia in 2022.
Oh, wow.
So my life in New Zealand was not the greatest growing up. It's not too cliche to say, but poverty is such a big thing back in New Zealand, especially within our culture. There are a lot of people who have childhood trauma, generation trauma, and unfortunately our parents or our grandparents haven't dealt with that trauma, so it sucks down towards the next generations, and a lot of the parents don't really look after the children, so we have to defend for ourselves and seeing front hand of everything, so it's really traumatic.
Yeah. So how long did you live in New Zealand for?
Moved in 2020 19 years.
Oh, wow.
19
And what
years.
made you, how did you make the move to come to Australia?
I was dealing with a lot of trauma, a lot of emptiness and suicidal thoughts. The reason why I moved over is I was heavily suicidal, thinking about wanting to kill myself nearly every single day. And one day I was really fixated on the idea, and I just felt God's presence telling me to call my brother, which he made it out of New Zealand, to come over. He didn't want me to be in Australia because it's bigger. It's a bigger environment, more opportunities, but more towards drugs, more alcohol, because that's what I was facing with, was a lot of alcohol to
So
deal with
would you
that.
say that you grew up in an environment where it was just alcohol and just substances? Is that what you grew up and knew that was normal to do?
Yes, so that's what's so normal. It's normalized within a lot of areas that's just what's ahead of you. You don't see anything else that's better for you. A lot of people actually drop out of school early because they don't see the use of school. They don't see what's better for them, and alcohol, drugs, and gang related affiliations was very familiar with my upbringing. Now my mother, she had a very amazing, beautiful upbringing, so I did see both sides.
Right. And when you came to Australia, how did that go? So you're in this new big world, especially, did you start in Sydney? So yeah,
Yes.
so this big, fast-paced world, different compared to New Zealand. How did you go about life in Sydney?
I was actually, I had a big cultural shock. There was so many different cultural diversities, and I was mentally prepared, but physically not prepared of the amount of people who are here, just predominantly in Sydney. I came through within the pandemic, so everything was slowly becoming alive, and just seeing the nightlife of Sydney, drinking, clubbing, and all of that. So it was, for me, I was like, yeah, Sydney, gonna start this,
It's
gotta do
good.
that,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I obviously know you personally from, like, I met you through church. And I know you've been through a lot, and I know you have a lot to share. So could you shed some light on your life before walking with God and what made you come to God and how your life is going pretty much at the moment since giving your life to God? I know a lot. So let's start. Let's
No.
start with your life. So obviously, your life before God was the drinking and the going out. What caused you to turn away from those ways?
I feel like this question is really it's really hard to answer for me because always known God since the very young age. I've been suicidal since the age of 7. That's when I was wanting to commit suicide. I used to pray to God, wanting Him to take me away from my sleep. So I've known God for a very long time, but I didn't know Him properly. When I realised my life in Sydney, Australia, was starting to involved with a lot of drugs, with a lot of alcohol, not recognising myself in the mirror, I knew that there was something wrong, and that void that I've always tried to fill wasn't filling with all these satisfaction for temporarily. And I was at the beach with my friends. We were drinking for like 4 days straight. Thursdays were reserved for the pub with my brother and I, and we used to gamble. Then Friday, Saturday were reserved for my girlfriends, which was going out clubbing. So that was my idea. So basically a Sunday, maybe just drink to get over the hangover and just socialise and recover Monday. So that was very consistent in my life. It's just a normal thing for me to go to the beach. I don't think that was a coincidence with my friends. We wait until we sobered up. We drive. So if you are a police officer,
I swear it wasn't me driving.
yeah, and I'm not giving my friend's name. It was all illusion. We drove to the beach, to Brighton Beach, and just wanting to watch the sunrise. And I just heard God's voice and His comfort, and I knew it was Him because that familiar presence of His when I experienced back in New Zealand. And I just heard His nice, peaceful voice saying, "Come to me, my daughter. You're lost, but you're not. You're lost, but I can't really reiterate what He said, but you're lost and come to me, come find me." And that just made me so convicted. I did not drink. Normally I would drink on that Tuesday, Wednesday, the following couple of days. Didn't go to the pub, thank goodness. And I met this lovely lady. She approached me at work and she asked me to go to this church. I'm like, okay. I've been to so many churches in Sydney because I was seeking. There's nothing special about finding a church because I just couldn't find that connection, couldn't find that same feeling, couldn't feel Him. And coincidentally, it was literally down the road from my house, and I did try to beg my brother come to this church with me. God knew I wouldn't be bold enough to show up by myself, so He literally sent someone to my old job to me to invite me into youth. So to get over that, I just felt convicted from that moment to drink. Coming to church, I felt convicted to even pick up another glass. But what I struggled with was putting down substance of marijuana. I could not give that up because that was my sense of comfort to feel safe and to let everything go numb and just not to think about any stress, what's going to happen next, and to feel like everything's okay in that moment. So it had taken me a while for me to get out of it, and a while, what I would say, within a few months, because God can literally just change your life. Then if you listen and trust Him, He's like, come to me, and you're pulling, like, do I go to you? Do I give this up? Or I'm happy where I'm at now. Just getting out of that comfort spot and to step out of faith. God just like really swept me up and convicted me. And that stayed, and without anyone realizing, I did fall back again in that same year, and I was really, really, really convicted. That's where I stopped coming to church again. I felt like everyone knew what I was doing, everyone's eyes were just focused on me, and it's just these voices, and it was just really hard. And coming out of nowhere, someone just messaged me, which you already know, came into my life, and I really truly think that God put him into my path to really just like get back into line.
So if we backtrack a little bit, when you came to church for the first time, how did you feel?
So I've always said to God, I want to feel your presence. As soon as I walk through those doors, the entrance at POS, just walking down that pathway, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it feels like him. Like, what's going on? Like, this is too good to be true. Like, it honestly just feels like everything that I had on my shoulders were instantly dropped as soon as I put one foot forward into the door pathway. And I was just like wondering, why is everyone smiling? Like, why
are you so friendly?
Yeah, like it's so contagious.
Yeah.
And normally I'm such a happy person, like laughing, I'm goofy, but I'm like, why are these people just like happy and laughing out of nowhere? Like,
Yeah.
I was used to seeing people jumping like just in their chairs, but not in the altar. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
I'm like, this feels like a concert, not going to lie. Like first and second service, like second service pops off. I'm like, okay, I want to jump. Okay, I want to raise my hands.
Yeah.
I want to shout.
Obviously, you know, I think we both know very well that walking with God is not very easy. It comes with its challenges, and I know everyone experiences it. So I wanted to shine just a light on that. Even though you walk with God, you're still going to get those trials. You're still going to go through those things. So I would, if you felt comfortable, to share something that you thought was all rainbows and daisies, and then it hit you and you're like, oh, hang on, this is not what I expected. And how you overcame that, or how you go through and push through those things, just in case, you know, someone may be listening and going through the same thing.
I was so heavily involved within my culture. And one thing is always being told what to do, always caring what others think. And one thing that I always hold value towards my heart is my family. It was very hard making the decision to follow Christ. Was my family members. This is my family members, my immediate family. You're in a cult. What are you doing? You're brainwashed. You make me feel uncomfortable. These are words that I heard from my own family loved members. I still love to this day, but it was so hurtful to hear this, because it made me consider, am I really doing what I want to do, or am I just following everyone else because they're happy? Am I happy just to have a temporary fix of a cone of marijuana? Or am I just going to be happy and just follow what I really want, and to learn how to heal from all this trauma and all this void I had within myself?
And when you say that, obviously culture is a big thing and family is a big thing, did you ever feel like you found yourself saying, oh, maybe they're right, and start doubting your walk, or like doubting the decision you made?
Yes. I actually felt like I thought I was going to be disowned.
Yeah.
I was meant to receive my mokokawa, which is a traditional Māori tattoo on your chin, on my 21st birthday. I had all these traditional tattoos, tamokos, that I wanted to have them designed in my body when I turned 21. And that was very difficult for me to not be a part of my culture from overseas. So I really felt like I was missing out. And just not being in the loop within family, because family is everything. You don't do anything to your own blood. And I felt like I turned my back on my own family by doing this, not realizing that it was all in my thoughts. And I felt that big disconnection with my family and with me standing with God. And it was hard following, do I just not care about those thoughts? And even though people wouldn't say things directly, it's just the way how I feel like I'm painting this image in my head, like know my family are very upset because they weren't talking to me. The whole relationship wasn't the same. And they were like, why aren't you drinking? Like, you're so weird. Like, why are you dressed like that? Like,
Yeah, you became an outcast.
yeah, basically, I did. I actually felt an outcast. Yeah, literally. And I remember just my mom just always commenting, why aren't you wearing your clothes anymore? Like, what are you wearing?
Yeah.
My brother's like, why are you wearing an apron? I was like, I feel more beautiful and more happy wearing modest clothing than wearing, like, you know, short skirts.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, yeah. So I just felt like what I truly wanted was I was falling back. And this was like a big struggle within me coming into church, like 2-3 months. It was really hard because I always cared what other people think, and I would always post my life on social media and just like gaining followers, gaining attraction, and it's just like,
I think it's also, I think to point is so normal because that's what society teaches us to do. Like, you have to publicize your life, and you have to publicize the way you look, and you got to look a certain way. And I think when we start not doing those things, people like look at us like, who are these weirdos? Like, why are they not doing what we do?
exactly.
Yeah, so it is a massive thing. And I think it's a massive thing, especially being a young adult, like going into life. It's just like, oh my goodness. And it's sometimes we do feel, like I said, outcast because we feel like, oh, we're not fitting in anymore. Do I really belong? Is this really worth it? And, you know, etc.
Exactly.
But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Sorry, keep going.
No, yeah. That is so true. And it was very hard for my brother to really accept the new changes of me. It caused a lot of conflicts, caused a lot of hurt between the both of us. Both of us.
Yeah.
And yeah, we used to argue nearly every day. You'll think that we weren't siblings. And it was very difficult because he pointed out like all these things, and you're not a Christian because you're swearing back at me. I'm like, I'm only a couple months in.
Give me a break.
I know. I'm like, yeah, like, I just want to throw hands at you. And yeah, just like, tempting me to smoke with him. He's like, where's my sister? Like, you're going weird. Like, why aren't you smoking with me? Like, you're saying no.
Yeah.
And like, he's just like so shocked. He's like, who is this person living in this house with me? We both had a very traumatic upbringing, like I mentioned earlier. His perspective is very different to mine. He and my 2 other older brothers protected me from a lot of things. Fortunately, I was exposed to a lot. It was to the point where they had to steal food for me to eat, the younger sister. So I love my brother to bits, and for him to say this to me, I'm like, excuse me?
Of course.
And then that made me realize, am I changing for the right reasons? Am I going to church for the right reasons? Everyone else is happy. I want to be that happiness. And I wanted him to experience it.
Yeah.
But he was just not having a bar of it. Anything he heard about me, mentioning about church, mentioning about God, him hearing me pray, him seeing me reading the Bible, he was like, what are you doing? You're ugly. That's what you say. I'm like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you're ugly. I'm like, okay, that's what I'm used to hearing.
Yeah.
So you're brainwashed. You're crazy. Are you okay? You need to go back to New Zealand, go back to Papatūānuku, which is Earth Mother, and like touch the ground and reconnect with the tangata whenua. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I'm like, what is this? Obviously, he's not saying it in like a joke because he's like this daunting look, and I'm just like this anger. I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like,
do you deal with that? Like, how did you do, like, you obviously were in your walk with God and you were trying to push through, and then you had someone constantly just in your ear, which would be very discouraging. How did you deal with that, and how did you push through that?
It was difficult. I'm not going to lie, it was difficult. Seeing alcohol, seeing seeing
Substances.
substances,
Yeah, we'll just go with that.
substance,
Whatever. Yeah.
just seeing alcohol and marijuana just in my face. It was very tempting. But once I would give in, I'm like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
So it made me stay away. For me to get over it, it was really, really hard. Like, even you knew how difficult it was to be around my brother.
Yeah.
That I love so much, and it was just hard for me to even get through this. I would say to not keep it within yourself, to not think that you're alone. You have your friends who love you and give you advice. You bounce off each other, and iron sharpens iron. It truly does. And within a period, you sharpened my iron when you were there in my life. And just hearing everything of our conversations, it always related back to God, and it just made me like, okay, my friends, okay, I got this. Going to church, right. Getting involved within church, okay, it's take my mind off.
Yeah.
Okay, just hanging out with my friends every single day, okay, it's keeping me busy. Not realizing that was damaging my brother's feelings because I wasn't present with him. He never saw me, basically, because I was hurt at him. I wanted to be out of the house.
Yeah.
So it was really hard to see where he was coming from, not realizing I was doing this to him, and he wasn't clear with what he wanted me to say. His communication wasn't really clear for me to understand, because it was always my point of view. Until I really saw him, I was like, okay, because the most important thing, no matter if you're going to church, you're involved with ministry, is your family.
Yeah.
Your family comes first. And how are you going to express the changes of what God's done to you without being there for your family?
Yeah, and I think it's so easy to get lost in that world. And I love serving, and I love helping people, and I love the fellowship, and I love all those things. But I do think it's so easy to get so caught up in your own world that you forget about all those who are lost and all those who are struggling, or even just your family that is, right in front of your face. And I think that's a good point. And then sometimes you're like, oh yeah, whatever, I don't care about you. You're like, I got my life together, and you close those people out. And those are the people who need you most.
Exactly.
When they're going through something. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was really difficult. It took me a lot of prayer time and fasting, because I was hearing those words, like you said, you think you're better than me. My brother said to me, you think you're perfect now because you are all sorted, because you're healed. My childhood trauma is still with me. Why do you think you're almighty? That's what he was saying to me. I'm like, what? I'm trying to do the most opposite thing. I'm going to church. I'm showing you this goodness, but not realizing I wasn't present within him. So I had to pulled back, socializing and fellowshipping, just making sure it's just a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where the other days, just with him. And it was amazing and beautiful. I ended up doing Bible studies with my cousin, and I would never think, and she had no clue who God was. Yeah. She had never never read a Bible before, and it was just amazing just to start that. And just hearing all these words from my brother, you know what, sis, you've changed so much. I see God within you.
Yeah, wow.
Sis, I can see you in a happy place. And it's just saying all these words, like, God changed your life, and he'll ask me questions about God, and of course it'd be conflicting because he brought scientific and this weird this name's gonna come to my head, but it's just how the world's flat, and then there's these things around. I'm where do you see this? I'm like, oh my gosh.
I know, when people tell me that, some people believe that we came from apes, I just think if we came from apes, why is there still apes around? Exactly. Shouldn't we all just be human?
Yeah.
So I totally get it.
And I'm so grateful for Simeon Costa's Bible studies that we teach. but it says here, if you listen to me, right here, it's in the Bible, read.
Yeah.
Genesis 1,
Yeah.
verse 1.
Yeah. I get it. I honestly get the feeling. I think when we walk with God, it's so important to understand that we will be persecuted by our family. Like, our family is one thing, and I think that does grow our faith. But if Jesus was persecuted, who are we not to be persecuted the same?
Exactly.
And I think shining a light to the fact that if you follow after God, it's so important to understand that it can be a lonely road at times. And when you do hold on to God and you keep pushing through that, he turns things around. And that's what he did with your cousin and with your relationship with your brother, the fact that he said those things to you. And I think what's beautiful is that you did push through. And I think that's beautiful, and I've witnessed you grow, and you've grown so much, and it's so beautiful to see. Like, I've known you for like about a year, nearly 2 years now, and from who I saw you when I first met you to you right now, you have matured in such a beautiful way, and I love seeing that, and I love seeing people grow. And I know who you were 2 years ago is nothing you are now. You've grown so much, and who you will be in 6 months' time will be just different as well. You won't even be recognizable. And yeah, before we close this off, I just wanted to ask, like, any advice or anything that you can tell anyone who's listening, who's going through family struggles, or like is scared to open up about God. Like, what word of advice would you give to them, obviously with the experience you've had?
Definitely. One experience, one truth, and one memory. You can keep those memories circulating in your mind. You know the truth, but it comes down to your experience.
Yeah.
Did you experience God's love? Did you find the peace and the healing that you found? Why not stick with it and be around all this temporary satisfaction? Be the person who stands in the light for your family. Be that change, because people actually keep your eyes on you. And this is what my brother said. I've looked at your whole journey and seen you change. He's reading the Bible every day. He's told me. He's not ready to come to church yet. And why I say yet? Because God has plans for him.
Amen, yeah.
And my family members who said that to me, they love me. It's, you have the ability to change, and with your actions, it's up to you to keep the hurt, that sadness, and that emotional and that unforgiveness towards the people who's hurt you. Or you can continue to show them grace, show them love, and they will change. And now my family accepts me who I am. They actually make sure I'm okay. When I went back to New Zealand for my grandmother's funeral at Tihi, my family were like, "Are you okay? We're drinking. Are you going to be okay around us? Does that mean you're not going to be around with us?" Jesus sat on the table with sinners and tax collectors. It's entirely up to you if you're going to fall and choose and be away from everyone and close that door from people who really need you, or be that light. Just allow God to shine through you and be in that presence, because how are they going to be saved? He's coming soon, and you don't want any regrets. And you don't want to feel convicted. So for me to even stand there and be with my family and to not drink, to not even feel tempted, they were so surprised just to see this change. And keep in mind, I haven't seen most of my family since I moved here. So keep yourself firm on God's voice. Keep seeking him. The more you seek him, the more he's going to unpeel you like an onion, like Pastor Stan said. And it's so true. He's going to unpeel, and the more that he peels and gets through to you, this is where it's going to get tough. But it's up to you if you want to let that situation, that little block, avoid the goodness that he has in store for you, the plan. It's just going to keep circulating. God's always for you, but it's up to us to really take hold onto him and to follow him. And I can't explain this to you unless you experience
Do it
this.
yourself. Yeah.
You need to do it yourself, and
Yeah.
it's willing for that person to have that change of mindset and just do it. If you're stuck in that presence and in that moment and that hurts or anything, just watch God move.
Yeah.
Just like how you said about me, like you've changed so much within like 3 months, 6 months, a year, too. Oh my goodness. And it's up to you to really feel, am I gonna let this block stop my life?
Yeah.
Or am I just gonna stay in this little block and be uncomfortable? I'm not gonna say the word sinning, but just constantly just repetitively
cycle,
doing
yeah.
that same cycle. It's time for you to change that cycle, because you got to have that motivation to do that yourself.
Yeah. 100% agree. Well, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I really hope that if there's someone out there that this touches them, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. We'll see you at our next episode. See ya.
Bye.
Hi, and welcome. We created this space for people from all walks of life to come together and share their powerful testimonies, life stories, and personal journeys. Whether you're a teenager navigating life or 50 and fabulous, this channel is for you. Our goal is to create a warm, open, and inspiring community where every voice matters. We believe that through sharing stories, healing can happen, and you just might find a story that speaks directly to you. So sit back, relax, and connect with our amazing guests. We're so glad to have you here. Enjoy!